Well, hello, my YouTube friends. I am so happy to make that video and to present you again that knife that I would have to check it, but I'm pretty sure that I made a YouTube video about it. That Morbius from my friend Edison. I'm gonna review it again just for the heck of it, because that's the first time that I do actually two videos about a knife, and basically the first time that I ever recovered a knife that I used to own. I don't know, it's kind of psychological for me. It was, whenever I used to own something and I decide to part with it, somehow it's done. I mean, I've lived my experience with it, and I never really intend to recover a knife after. I mean, it's not that I don't, but it doesn't happen. But this one, I truly want it back, because this one really was almost made for me, and it has so many features that makes it unique. And unless Edison decides to do I don't know what, but this will always be unique. His masterpiece, literal masterpiece. You know what a masterpiece was? It was like when those guys, the Masons, they were doing, an achievement. I mean, their best achievement was their masterpiece. We use masterpiece as a word for a lot of things, but it doesn't really represent the true meaning of a masterpiece. This one should have been his masterpiece. The rest is, I don't know, something he does on the side. But he will, I don't know if he will be ever able to reproduce that thing. All conditions combined, which I'm going to review momentarily. But a side note before starting that review. Yesterday, because I reviewed it already, so might as well discuss about something else. Might as well, start with that. Yesterday I had an epiphany. I realized that after ranting and always saying that because of the new algorithm with YouTube and everything, I lost a lot of followers and everything, and my videos has less views. I had an epiphany because of a post on Instagram from Enrique Peña, the maker, who was asking to the Instagram community who they would consider as the best reviewer, knife reviewer. And oddly, my name didn't even appear once. So I used to be a knife reviewer. That's my epiphany. I used to be a knife reviewer. I was quite taking the time to review the features of a knife, reviewing, mostly production knife, because I felt that this was what I needed to do at the time, to review really a knife, because of all the tactical features, all the mechanics features and everything. And along the road, I ended up making only videos about custom knives, because basically I stopped collecting production knife, mid-tech, stuff like that, and my attention was only on custom knife. And normally, as it is, because I'm natural, I don't do things that I don't want to do. My video evolves as my taste for custom knives, so I just present you knives like that are like unicorns for a lot of people, and most of the knives that I present are quite unique, and so they don't speak basically to a lot of people, only to the guys who know me and in the community who likes to appreciate a kind of unique pieces. So I realize that my voice now is more confined in a niche that are more focused, on custom knives and on my nonsense. And thank you for that, because my pleasure is to share with the ones who like what I do, or who likes my knives. So like I said, if it was only for two people, I would still do those videos, because it takes me 15 minutes, and I truly appreciate to do that. Now, with that being said, as a non-knife reviewer, but as a passionate knife collector, I will review again that knife. So, 10 minutes to discuss about that. Will that be sufficient? We'll see. Man, Edison Barajas. He started making knives, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago, something like that, even more probably, by making, I don't know if you remember, those crazy multi-grind knives. I met him from the start, almost. He was there at the show with his brother and with his backpack, not having a table, of course, just presenting his knives on the side like that. The guy was always, they were, fun guys, man. And you could tell that he had something in him for sure. And he evolved, of course. He started to make more consistent knives and improve his craft over time. At the time, of course, he was doing with his small machining in his garden like that, in his backyard, doing his knives as he could. And he evolved to a point where he decided to, out of the blue, make that piece. Because this is something truly special. You need to understand that. That's why I really wanted to make that review back. This is truly something absolutely unique, and I'm not even sure that he would be able to reproduce what he did with that one under the same circumstances. Because at the time, he didn't have all the machining that he has now, all the experience that he has now, and yet he managed to make a knife that even now I'm not sure that he would be able to to do it again. So what does that knife has in special, aside from the obvious? Okay, so the obvious is easy to see. You have a knife that is all about alternative use of material between zirconium and superconductor. And man, the zirconium, we're gonna see about that. So you have here zirconium, then with an alternate piece of bolster in superconductor. The thumb stud here is zirconium. So zirconium, superconductor, zirconium. I guess you can do it this way, then after that here, and then after that zirconium, superconductor. Here you have, even on the back spacer, you have a superconductor here. So then after that is zirconium, superconductor, zirconium here, superconductor. You see, it's alternate and it's mirrored. Here when you're going to have zirconium, of course, you're going to have here a superconductor, and vice versa. And here on the inlay, here you have the color in superconductor and the thumb stud here in superconductor. I am boring as hell. So we need to go further on that. So that's the obvious. Then after that, what do we have in this construction? We have here 89 pieces. 89 pieces that constitute the all built. Imagine that, 89 pieces, the inlay here. You need to see that from the angle that I'm trying to, you can tell. So in between the scale and the liner, you see a space and you see some pieces, because everything on that knife is floating. And that is, man, this is like the best thing that I've seen on a knife. Honestly, that's amazing. The bolster is floating. The scale is floating. The second bolster, because it's double bolster, why stopping at one when you can make two, floating. The backspacer itself is a dual piece, of course, with the zirconium and superconductor. And as you can see, it's also floating. You have a space with the kind of standoffs in between. And on the other side, it's the same. It's floating. Check that. The clip, you see, you have inserted here. How difficult can that be? You have a kind of milled part on the superconductor, and this zirconium part is inserted, inlaid almost in it, which makes this piece of clip with this dual finish on standoffs absolutely amazing and crazy built, because again, he did that with his own hand and a small machine like that. So that's a true 100,000% custom knife that has the fit and finish of something that would be done with a CNC. So this is where I'm telling you that this is a masterpiece, because he cannot, listen, he would take him so long to do that knife again, even with the machining that he has now. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, he couldn't make that again. Or if he does, even the circumstances wouldn't be the same, because it would be with a machining that would allow him to do it in a certain way. So that was the pinnacle of what he could do when he was with his basic machining. And now what he does is something different, but I cannot tell you that it would be more elaborate than that, because it's not. Even his more complex build, to me, are not as elaborate as it is. So this is why I consider that knife as a true masterpiece from my man, Edison Barajas. I am super happy. Check also the details. I mean, you have that finish. I've made a video recently. I don't remember what it was, but it was about finishing the zirconium in a full black. So of course it was about the Sebastian Larsson knife. I'd say that he and Todd Rexford only were doing true black, not that grayish, dark grayish finish on the zirconium. I would add Edison to that. This is a true black. I mean, pure black. And that finish here, sorry about the lightning, but that finish is just exceptional. Exceptional. Absolutely flawless. Love it. I haven't mentioned that, but look at that. I mean, I like this, the line of the bolster here following the line of the clip. This is really, really artistic. Of course, don't expect to have here a flawless junction. It's not even in the idea of the build that is floating here. So of course you have a kind of floating space here in between the bolster and the scale, which is very much in the idea of the overall knife. So very nice finish on the zirconium. Very nice finish too on the liner, because a lot of people cannot get the liner to be darkened and blackened like that. For some reason they have issues now to get blackened titanium. They do coating or whatever. At that time, he just blackened the titanium in a way that is black, much like Frank Fisher used to do. Now they wouldn't take the time, because it's a kind of a tedious process where you have to oil it and to. I have the recipe and it's tedious, believe me. So in order to get those liners black, and this is something also that has to be noted, because it's a tedious process and it brings more consistency to the knife, because who would want to have here on that knife some shiny liners or even bead blasts, or it wouldn't match, it wouldn't be in the overall idea of the knife. And I really appreciate that effort too. Edison did absolutely fantastic on that knife. Here you have probably seen a little bit of greenish part. This is probably because of the polishing of the pieces to maintain them with that perfect aspect, because I don't want, as much as I like patina, I don't want those superconductors to look to have the patina, because I think that it has to be that way. You have to have some shiny bronzish parts contrasting with the zirconium. It would be a mess. I let the patina go at some point and it looked messy. So yeah, it has to be like that. So probably because of the polish, this would have probably altered a little bit the zirconium here, but actually I find it kind of sexy to have some greenish aspect here on the zirconium. Now, a word about the action, the blade. So you can see that the hand rubbed was good, okay. He spent so much time, because it was not really his main his main feature to do a nice hand rub, so he spent so much time to make that good hand rub. But man, check the grind of this one here. You have that long, for the life of me, I think it's flat, yeah, long flat here with this beautiful grind. Check this plunge line, absolutely fantastic. Love that grind on this one, and it's pointy. The action, I'm heading to the 15 minutes. The action is splendid. I mean, as it is always with Edison, the tolerances are insane. The D10 is unbreakable. It fires like a rocket. I mean, it's one of the best action I've seen on a knife, and it had that at that time already. His action is usually he uses a great detent. I mean, a very strong detent. Of course, this one is manual opening, so it has to be smoother than the flipper. But check that. I mean, you can even deploy it like that smoothly. That's the perfect detent. I'm yet to see a better detent on this one for a manual opening, honestly, because look, it's effortless to disengage, and hear the noise of it. I mean, it's hear how it clicks. You can tell that the D10 is strong, but I don't know how he set it, but check that. And again, very smooth to disengage. Oh, 15 minutes. Bye-bye, my friends.